Did you know you could land $100,000 commercial deals without spending a dime on ads? For years, I spent thousands on ads trying to land commercial work, and not a single deal came through. But once I focused on one simple strategy that attracts serious commercial clients, my business exploded to over $1 million in revenue. So to help you avoid losing money on ads, here's my exact strategy to attract serious clients who will give you huge commercial projects for $100,000 or more. To start, I have to show you what most contractors miss that's causing them to miss out on landing big commercial deals. Because when I kicked off my commercial contracting business, everyone kept telling me, hey, you gotta be everywhere online. And honestly, all it did was wear me out chasing every platform, and even worse, not getting a single commercial lead rolling in. Then one day I'm just dragging in my office, and out of nowhere, I get my first commercial lead. So I asked them, hey, how did you even find me? Blew my mind. They said LinkedIn. So right then I ditched everything else and went all in on LinkedIn. And that's how I built my whole business. I've landed over $1 million in commercial deals there, but most contractors don't even know where to start when it comes to finding commercial leads. I get it. I was in the same boat. That's when I stopped listening to all the noise and focused on LinkedIn, the only platform that actually brought me commercial opportunities. So if you want those big money jobs, stop spreading yourself thin. Go all in on making LinkedIn your one strategy, because that's where those deals happen every day. Now, you're probably thinking, all right, this makes sense, but how do I actually get started on LinkedIn without wasting my money or time? That's exactly what I'm going to break down next. See, one of the biggest marketing traps I fell into when I started out my commercial contracting business was thinking, hey, I'll just pay some ad agency to run my ads and get me commercial leads. Easy. The problem is you pour money into those agencies and the ads every month after month, and it barely gets you any real commercial leads. I mean, half these agencies just aren't built for contractors, and the hidden costs pile up fast. So here's what actually worked. I got my contracting company past 7 figures by focusing on real relationships. And one of the best clients I have, he's a warehouse owner. It's been years of steady work with him. Every year, he just calls me back in. The problem is most contractors stick to what they think feels easy and quick. But if you turn those ads off, you're in a world of hurt. So the real game changer for contractors is using LinkedIn for commercial leads. This is the fastest path to steady repeat work. You just got to show up. But listen, if you don't actually know how to get started on LinkedIn, this next part is where things finally click. I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do first, even if you're new to LinkedIn. When I first started on LinkedIn, I'd post job site videos here or there and hope they would get noticed by someone important. But they only ended up attracting just a bunch of mysterious accounts that looked like they lived in their mom's basement. But then I learned something about LinkedIn. It was built around people sharing what they know and how they think. And that's when it clicked for me. There's one important piece I was missing. Let me explain. One of the biggest jobs I landed on LinkedIn was for $100,000. The owner sent me this. There's always properties rotating, and I know this project is going to turn out great. I can show my coworkers your work and give you a referral. See, she gave me that job because she already seen me prove myself for years on LinkedIn. So you just can't post random content and expect to be found. The real move is following a content system that works for contractors. And here's how you actually do that. I call it the Authority Amplifier. This is a system that'll have decision makers tracking you down for their $100,000 projects. And step number 1 is post real proof. Stuff like job site tours, where you just walk through, show what you're fixing, and talk about what really matters. Step number 2 is case studies. Just show here's the client's problem, what we did, and how we actually fixed it. Step number 3 is post before and afters. Just quick shots of what changed. And at the end of the job, talk about quality and the stuff that shows you care. And step number 4, for every project, you should be able to grab 3 to 5 quick bits of proof. That's photos or short, quick updates. It's just so you have enough to post once or twice a week. And step number 5, if you're just starting out as a new contractor, just share simple checklists that you would use when you walk jobs, or simple checklists you run through on how you double check quality and safety. And just say, here's what I check every time I walk the job, and give a couple bullet points about what matters most. You can also use LinkedIn's carousels, just to show multiple pages of the certain type of products that you use or that's specific to certain types of jobs. Now, posting content is the number 1 way to gain trust. But if you want to actually find decision makers that'll hand you $100,000 jobs, Don't miss what I'm about to show you next. Recently, I connected with Craig on LinkedIn, but he couldn't seem to figure out how to land commercial work. So I checked out his connections, and right away, I spotted a problem. And this is what I see with most contractors. They want those big $100,000 jobs, but they're connecting with the wrong type of people. Craig needed a hand, but he had no idea where to start. So I got on a quick call and I showed him the simple way to find the right people who actually are signing the checks. Here's how to do it. And trust me, it's dead simple. Step number 1, start with the LinkedIn search. Type in your city and the keywords like construction, development, or real estate. I always start with the biggest city nearby and filter those companies. Think of the companies like manufacturing, distribution, auto shops, that kind of thing. And step number 2 is pull up their company page. Hit the People's tab and look for the jobs like owner, founder, CEO, or president. Whoever's making the decisions. Step number 3 is tracking. Just use a simple sheet. Get their name, their company, their profile LinkedIn link. That way you never forget who it is. But here's the thing. Just don't blast a bunch of connection requests. Glance at their profile and then shoot a quick message like, "Hey John, I saw you manage this company. I help local businesses with their commercial projects. I would love to connect." But if you're going to do this, you got to stay consistent. So do this with 5 to 10 people a day and your network will grow fast. But before you send out connection requests, there's a trick that makes everyone accept your connection. I'll show you exactly what to say. Because I used to think that if I just made enough LinkedIn posts, people would finally notice me. So I kept tweaking my posts and just overthinking every word, but it didn't help in any way. But then one day I saw this post from a regional general manager at a big mall. She was talking about the work she was doing in the community. So I just dropped a quick comment, not some cheesy pitch, just an afterthought. And next thing you know, we're chatting. And she suddenly remembers a repaint project nobody had handled. That one comment added $55,000 in my bank, just like that. Most contractors don't even think about this, but it's the secret sauce if you're trying to break into commercial work on LinkedIn. If you even want to know how to get started getting leads, here it is. And here's what you got to do. Every morning and every evening, spend just 10 minutes scrolling what people are posting. But here's the thing, don't just lurk. Jump in and leave a comment, especially on the posts from the people who you're actually trying to work with. After you find a post, make sure your comments get noticed. So here's exactly how to make that happen. First, try and comment as soon as you see them post, ideally within a couple hours. That way your reply pops up at the top before the feeds get crowded. Number 2, follow their company pages too. When you comment on these posts, everyone in the company will start recognizing your name. And number 3, keep a little list. Pick 5 or 10 people like regional general managers and touch base every week. That way, don't get forgotten. And lastly, whatever you do, skip the lazy, great post stuff. Actually drop a quick comment or ask a real question. That way, they're more likely to respond and remember you. Now, if you skip this next step, you'll miss the most effective way to get commercial jobs without having to buy a single ad. Have you ever wondered why some contractors instantly gain trust online while the rest of contractors just get ignored? It's all about how you show your work, not just how you say you can do it. Here's the thing. Most contractors aren't showing off their credibility on LinkedIn, so people just assume you're not ready for the big commercial jobs. Or worse, maybe you got something to hide. I can't tell you how many times I've walked a job site and the customer says, "Hey, I checked you out on LinkedIn. That's why I trusted that you can handle a project like this." So before you ever show up on the project and shake their hands, they've already made their mind up from what they saw on your profile. There are 4 things you have to get right to gain trust of high value clients: your profile photo, your banner image, your headline, and your featured work. These are all what grab the attention from people right away. First is your profile picture. Just a decent headshot with a plain background. That's what gets you taken seriously. Next is your banner image. Basically, it's a big image at the top. Throw in a picture from the big job that you did. Add some text like "book an estimate below." Doesn't have to be fancy, just makes you look like a professional. Third is the featured section. This is where you stick a photo or a video that shows you know your stuff. Pick the best performing ones, and some of the best performing ones I see is where you're walking a job site. And lastly is your headline and your about section. Here's how to nail both those. For your headline, just keep it clear. Something like "protecting California's commercial buildings, comma, industrial coatings and painting, comma, owner at Apex Coatings." That way people can know exactly what you do at the first glance. Now next is your about section. Just back up your headline. Just say how many years you've been in the game, drop in the types of jobs that you do, and mention how you help owners stay ahead of property maintenance. Pick one thing that makes you stand out, like we treat your place like ours. Or share a quick example, like we saved a warehouse owner $30,000 by catching a leak early. Then end it with DM me or book here. Sign off with your name, owner, and company. That's it. Look, you got to understand, your LinkedIn profile is your billboard out there. You want big jobs, show your work, look professional, and you'll stand out. But this final step, it's one simple strategy that will set you up to consistently win $100,000 projects. I used to think LinkedIn was one of those, just set it and forget about it. So I threw up my profile, posted a couple times, and then just sat back, hoping the phone would ring. Nothing happened, of course. But here's the bigger picture as to why I landed that $100,000 warehouse project. The strategy that made the biggest difference was showing up consistently. Seriously, just being there and staying on their radar got me the call when they needed my help. Now I get it, you're busy. When there's work, the last thing you want to do is think about posting online. But here's the thing. I think contractors overestimate what they can do in 3 months and underestimate what they can do in 3 years. The only way you're going to win $100,000 commercial projects on LinkedIn is showing up and applying every step in this video. And trust me, you don't need some fancy ads or some agency. Just keep a steady LinkedIn routine. If you picked up anything useful from here, just leave a like and subscribe. Let's get you on the path to those big commercial jobs.